In today's show, a massive climate rollback, a cross-border showdown over a $4.6 billion bridge, and the surprising state leading America in income growth. Plus, in Podcast Extra, an emotional confession from an Olympic athlete grabs global attention. Meta's CEO is reportedly making a move to Florida, and new research shows a surprisingly simple way to strengthen relationships fast. And here's the trivia question. Which U.S. state holds the world record for brewing the largest iced tea? Is it A, Wisconsin, B, Florida, C, South Carolina, or D, Texas? I'll tell you at the end of the show. It's Wednesday, February 11th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Flyover Podcast. My name is Ayla Brown and I'm your weekday host. We have a full lineup of stories making headlines today, but before we take off, here's a word from one of our sponsors, Purins. If you're tired of shampoos that are full of harsh chemicals or big promises that go nowhere, Hydrolift Volumizing Shampoo by Purins is worth trying. It's made with clean ingredients that are EcoCert Cosmos certified and free of parabens, silicones, and sulfates. So instead of stripping your hair, you're actually strengthening it. Hydrolift uses a professional-grade protein complex that works from the inside out to boost volume and shine without that heavy-coated feeling that most shampoos leave behind. And they back it with a 365-day money-back guarantee. So there's really zero risk in seeing the difference for yourself. So it's very simple. If your hair needs a lift, head to Purins.com and use code FLYOVER2026 for 35% off. The link is in the show notes. All right, ready? Let's take off. The Environmental Protection Agency will move this week to repeal the 2009 endangerment finding, the legal basis that allows the agency to regulate greenhouse gas emissions. Scrapping it would undercut federal climate rules, including vehicle emission standards and power plant limits. Administrator Lee Zeldin called the repeal the largest act of deregulation in U.S. history. Environmental groups say they'll challenge it in court. President Trump says he won't allow the $4.6 billion Gordie Howe International Bridge between Detroit and Windsor to open unless Canada, quote, fully compensates the U.S. and gives it at least 50% ownership. Canada financed and built the bridge, set to open this year after an Obama-era waiver allowed it to be constructed without Buy American requirements. The dispute comes amid tensions over a possible Canada-China trade deal. And in a Truth Social post, Trump even joked China could, quote, terminate all ice hockey in Canada. Colorado leads the country in median household income growth, jumping 46.9% from 2019 to 2024, nearly double the national average, driven by its expanding tech sector. Georgia ranked second at 43.4% thanks to a major EV, aerospace, and battery investments. Maine followed with a 36.3% gain and a strong tech and construction wage growth. The weakest states were North Carolina and Oklahoma at just 9.9%. New York and Texas landed near the middle at 20.8% each. You can see the map of the states with the fastest income growth listed in today's show notes. Here are your top political headlines. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is under intense pressure after acknowledging during Senate testimony that he did, in fact, visit Jeffrey Epstein's island. The admission has triggered bipartisan calls for him to step down as lawmakers question the extent of his relationship with Epstein. Meanwhile, the White House's annual meeting with U.S. governors is taking an unusual turn this year. Officials say only Republican governors have been invited. Democratic governors were excluded entirely, breaking with decades of bipartisan tradition for the event. In Maine, Senator Susan Collins announced she will seek re-election. The 73-year-old Republican is preparing for what's expected to be one of the state's toughest challenges in years, as Democrats mount a renewed push to unseat her. And on Capitol Hill, Democrats rejected the White House's latest plan to keep the Department of Homeland Security funded. They argued it doesn't go far enough in reforming immigration enforcement. DHS funding runs out at the end of this week unless negotiators reach a deal. Here are some podcast extra stories that you will not find in our email edition. And by the way, if you're being directed here from the National Flyover email edition, stick around for the rest of the show so you can hear what's happening in the news. Norwegian biathlon bronze medalist Sturla Holm Lægreid came in third in the men's 20-kilometer biathlon at the 2026 Winter Olympics, but the result was quickly overshadowed by an emotional post-race interview. Speaking to Norwegian television, the 28-year-old said he had recently confessed to cheating on his partner, calling it the worst week of his life. Lægreid said the situation weighed heavily on him during the competition and that sport had taken a back seat in recent days. He described wanting to take responsibility for his actions and acknowledged falling short of his goal to be a positive role model. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is reportedly relocating from California to Florida, purchasing a newly built waterfront mansion on Indian Creek near Miami, an ultra-exclusive area known as the Billionaire Bunker. The home is estimated to be worth $150 to $200 million, though the deal has not been publicly confirmed. The move comes as California considers a proposed one-time 5% wealth tax on residents with net worths over $1 billion. Real estate agents say the proposal is already driving increased interest from California's ultra-wealthy and South Florida. Psychologists are finding that asking the right kinds of questions can quickly deepen human connection, even between parents and children. A 2024 study from the University of Amsterdam showed that when parents asked their kids a short set of thoughtful, personal questions, children felt more loved and supported after just 9 minutes. The idea builds on the well-known Fast Friends procedure, where meaning self-disclosure helps people feel closer than small talk ever really does. Researchers say the key isn't a specific script, but a willingness to be open, vulnerable, and curious. The takeaway: deeper conversations, not longer ones, may be the real shortcut to stronger bonds. Will you be trying this? I sure will. In finance news, a new report that came out Tuesday said retail sales were flat in December, even with the holiday rush. Economists had expected a 0.4% bump, but the Commerce Department says consumers pulled back more than anticipated. Analysts note this may reflect higher borrowing costs and tighter household budgets heading into the new year. Americans are leaning more on plastic. A new report finds U.S. consumers now owe a record $1.28 trillion on their credit cards. Balances jumped by $44 billion in the fourth quarter alone. That's a 5.5% increase from last year, as higher prices and interest rates continue to squeeze budgets. And in a lighter moment on Wall Street, actress Sydney Sweeney helped ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange on Monday. She appeared in jeans and a denim jacket alongside executives from American Eagle, a nod to her viral and somewhat controversial denim ad campaign for the brand last year. Speaking of stocks, here's how they did yesterday. They were mixed. The NASDAQ fell 0.59%, the S&P 500 slipped 0.33%, and Bitcoin dropped 2.30%. Gold dipped 0.09%, silver fell 1.97%, and oil was down 0.22%. The Dow was the low gainer, up 0.10%. The big stock mover of the day was Upwork. It plunged 19.08% after the company issued weaker than expected guidance for the upcoming quarter. Still to come, Team USA dominates on the ice. The FBI releases new clues in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, and a new study suggests Americans may be bonding with their dogs more than each other. I'll explain why. First, thank you so much to our sponsor, OneSkin. I am so big on routines, especially when it comes to skincare, and that's why I've been loving OneSkin's Essential Moisturizer and then their Essential Eye Cream. I use this combo every day after I get out of the shower, and my face feels hydrated and moisturized, not greasy. What sets OneSkin apart is the science behind it. Their formulas use the OSO1 peptide, a patented peptide built on longevity research that targets aging at the cellular level. And their products are designed to streamline your routine. They layer easily, they're dermatologist tested, and customers rave about smoother, firmer, healthier looking skin over time. No wonder they have over 10,000 five-star reviews, right? Born from over 10 years of longevity research, OneSkin's OSO1 peptide is proven to target the cells that cause visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, OneSkin is making it even easier to stay consistent with up to 30% off your first 3 subscription orders when you use code FLYOVER at oneskin.co/flyover. That's up to 30% off with code FLYOVER at oneskin.co/flyover. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them, so please support the show and tell them that you heard about it right here. The link to purchase is also in the show notes. In sports news, tonight marks the first of 2 qualifying races at Daytona International Speedway, where 36 NASCAR drivers will compete for their starting positions in this weekend's Daytona 500. These duels traditionally set the tone for the entire race week. College basketball saw a family showdown with historic implications. St. John's head coach Rick Pitino beat his son Richard, who now leads Xavier, moving Pitino into 3rd place on the all-times win list with 904 victories. And the NFL is remembering former New York Giants head coach Ray Handley, who died yesterday at 81. Handley once considered leaving coaching entirely to go to law school in 1991, but was convinced to stay by Hall of Famer Bill Parcells, the same coach he later succeeded in New York. And a huge start for Team USA at the Winter Olympics. The U.S. women's hockey team shut out Canada 5-0 in their opening game. Hillary Knight notched her 32nd career Olympic point, tying the all-time Team USA record and adding yet another milestone to her legendary career. For more Olympic coverage, sign up for today's National Flyover email edition for free at jointheflyover.com. There's an entire Olympic section with updates, headlines, and jaw-dropping moments from the games. In science and tech, NASA is hitting pause on its next astronaut launch. The agency postponed the SpaceX Crew 12 mission to Thursday, citing high winds along the flight path. The delay affects 4 astronauts who were scheduled to head to the International Space Station, and NASA says weather will continue to be a deciding factor over the next 24 hours. In sleep science, researchers say there's a lot more to circadian rhythm than just morning people and night owls. A new study identified 5 distinct sleep personalities, each tied to different health patterns. One early riser group showed the best overall health outcomes, while another category, also early rising, was linked to higher rates of depression, suggesting sleep timing alone doesn't tell the whole story. And finally, a new survey suggests Americans are bonding with their dogs more than ever, in some cases more than with other humans. About 43% of respondents said they prefer the company over pets over having children. Some philosophers and ethicists warn that this trend can create a extra active relationship, meaning we put unrealistic emotional expectations on pets that they aren't built to fulfill. Now, I don't want to start a fight, but I would love to know how you feel about this. Do you love your dog more than other humans? You have to be honest with me, but I hate to break it to my dog. I love humans more, especially my children. The comment section is always open. Here are a few additional headlines to leave you with today. First up, the FBI has released new photos and a short video tied to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. The footage shows a masked person tampering with her doorbell camera the night before she vanished, adding another critical clue as investigators continue their search. In a very different kind of journey, a group of Buddhist monks just finished a 15-week, 2,300-mile walk from Texas to Washington. Their peace walk stretched across 108 days, gathered thousands of supporters along the route, and went massively viral online as people followed their daily progress. And McDonald's managed to break the internet again. The chain's limited edition free McNugget caviar kits sold out within minutes on Tuesday, crashing the website as customers rushed to claim them. I don't get it, but the kits featured berry sturgeon caviar, creme fraiche, and a $25 gift card. The promotion was part of a quirky Valentine's Day tie-in, and the disappointment online was immediate. Here are the results of yesterday's poll question. How often do you exercise? Coming in first place was 29%, saying 3 to 4 days a week. 23% of you said daily. 21% said when the mood hits. 16% said never, and 11% said weekly. Thanks to those who voted today. Keep up the great work. Here's today's poll question. Have you ever been to Canada? Yes or no? Yes, I've been to Canada. Most recently, our family of 4 took a quick trip to Quebec City last January, and I don't know what we were thinking, but we brought our 2 babies. Not only was Quebec City one of the most romantic places I have ever seen, it was also the hilliest, and we could barely get up the hills with the stroller in the snow. So I told my husband, next time it's going to be just us. Vote in the show notes, and I will read your answers in tomorrow's episode. In today's trivia question, which U.S. state holds the world record for brewing the largest iced tea? If you guessed South Carolina, you were correct. The largest iced tea ever made measured 2,524 U.S. gallons and was achieved in Summerville, South Carolina on June 10th, 2016. Of course, it was sweet tea, and it was brewed using 210 pounds of loose leaf tea and 1,700 pounds of sugar. Organizers initially used 300 pounds of ice, but this failed to reduce the tea to the required 45 degrees. Several hundred pounds of additional ice were needed to meet the guideline requirements for the Guinness World Record, but they did it. Do you like sweet or unsweetened iced tea? I'm kind of like right in the middle. That is it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. And to those who are finding us for the first time, I just want to welcome you. We are a small and passionate group of people who care deeply about the news. So with that being said, I will see you tomorrow for more headlines. Until then, thanks for flying with us.